world, my rules. Actually... Hey guys, it's Amy here, back again with another video. Sometimes I feel like world building gets gatekept a lot, thus people don't do it right. Sometimes it could be because nobody educates them right, other times it could be because they are world building snobs who think that all fantasy worlds should be built like Tolkien's. And I apparently cannot change the minds of certain fantasy writers because they think they know everything about world building fantasy worlds. So I'm here to offer you some basic world building tips for the newbies and the veterans. And if you are not willing to learn, then I will force you to learn. I am a high-level bard, and I'm going to cast Charm Person on you. I'm not sure if this works through the internet. Maybe I should have become a warlock from Mark Zuckerberg instead. Here are 7 tips to help you with your world building for you to keep in mind at all times. Number 1, only build what you need. The world building rabbit hole is famed for taking people away from the stories that they are writing and focusing on getting every single detail down about their worlds, to the point where they think it is a greater priority than the story that's being told. Wasn't your goal to write a book or guide players through a campaign of Dungeons and Dragons? Or make a film or a TV web series thing? Simply put, the details do not matter. You should only expand upon what matters in the world in regards to your story. Don't go thinking, have I missed something? Focus on what matters in the moment. Because nobody cares about the great-great-granddaughter of the Vice Chancellor. Number 2, your world is normal to your cast. The easiest way to break immersion with your stories is if your characters say, in character, that they find this one particular way about the way that their world works weird, as in their own culture. One that they have been raised in since birth. These guys do not know any different, and your readers are smarter than you think. Unless your audience has lived in a room for 20 years of their life and they don't know about anything going on in the outside world, you do not need to make this kind of comparison, saying that this is the way things are done in our world, and it is weird. Or did you forget this revelation that I made about brushing your teeth? I'm such a weirdo! Number 3, get inspiration, not plagiarism. Your world is not a carbon copy of medieval Europe, and your works are not identical to that of J.R.R. Tolkien. I've never seen or read Lord of the Rings to know. I am a literary hipster, cause that is too mainstream. Nobody said your world had to be identical to anything. In fact, you're gonna lose readership if it is identical to something. I don't know how many fantasy books that I've seen, and the moment I see it's like the typical medieval fantasy Europe, I'm outie. I wouldn't touch another one of those stories with a 10-foot pole and dragons bore me, unless I'm fighting one in D&D. Instead, let these worlds that exist inspire you to create something new. Like the Avengers meets Percy Jackson, as seen in my novel, as is CODA exposure. Links available now in the description. Number 4, keep track of everything. People will call you out if you get a mentioned detail wrong. Take all that J.K. Rowling got wrong consistency-wise translating the books into the Fantastic Beasts movies. You need to create points of reference to keep track of everything going on in your world. You could be as simple or as complicated as you like, taking some notepads, some Word documents, or even software designed for world building. Again, a reason why you shouldn't have so many details, because you have to keep track of every single one of them. You don't want that much on your back along with your story, which you are still writing, right? Number 5, your world is your backdrop. As if I haven't been clear enough. You are creating a story, not a simulation of a world. Harry Potter is not beloved because of the world. It's because of the characters and the story, and the background just provides a way to immerse them in the feels that come with it. The same thing needs to happen with you. The characters and the story are what you should be putting the most attention on, with the world at a close 3rd or 4th. It means nothing without people and events in it. It's like Earth without life. Or The Sims. Susul. Number 6, make your locations distinct. From world to world, continent to continent, city to city. Your audience is gonna get hella confused if you have all of them look the same. The only difference is that one's being ruled by one king and the other is being ruled by another king. If you want your readers to be interested, have the locations and the cultures be different from each other. Have at least 3 differences between 2 locations to make your worlds feel different in that sense. But make those differences make sense in their distinctiveness. Don't have like the neighbor of a high-tech city be full of nothing but barbarians. Not without a distinct reason for them to be different. And number 7, use your fantasy world as your ties. A good fantasy story, especially a high fantasy, works best when the connections between the plot and the characters are also tied into the world. While it is your backdrop, it can also create the foreground. Your world is going to be a way to tie everything together, but you still need the characters and story there to tie it too. While your world may appear significant, it'll be crucial in that sense in retrospect. So use these tips wisely to tie your story together in such a fashion. What other world building tips have you guys got? Leave them down in the comments. And be sure to like this video and subscribe if you are new around here. Ring that bell so you can find out when I post more creative content. My book, ASTER'S CODA Exposure, is available in the description. My YA contemporary fantasy full of deep relationships and amazing fight scenes. And be sure to also check down below for my Instagram, my Twitter, and my website. Stay creative, everybody, and I'll see you in the next video.